Thinking back, I probably should have taken some more time. But, the way the Army works, if you're wounded and you stay on the, wounded list long enough, they're going to fucking put you out. And I wasn't done yet. Hello everybody, Terrence Popp here with another episode, live from the Lair. Alright, if you haven't noticed, I'm packing everything up, moving to a new lair. I'm going to be pretty much fully engaged until sometime next week. So, it's fucking crazy. But hey, that's what you get when you buy a fucking house and you have to unfuck the whole thing, so... It is what it is. I got a pretty good deal on it. It's a big house, 2-unit. I'm converting it back to 1 unit, so I'll have enough space to do what I need to do. I got to put a fence in there. I still got to get appliances. The roof is coming off in middle to the end of May, and I got to make some other. I got to tear down a wall and put in a fucking stairway up to the 3rd floor attic, which I'm going to turn into a whole new floor. I'm getting over a chest cold, so I'm still knocking some, shit loose in my lungs. So you got to bear with me, gentlemen. All right, so the Iraq stories are done. I may or may not go back to some in the past, depending upon if anything comes back into my memory or if I find my my journals and such. So I'm growing my hair back. I'm getting rid of the Evil Bert haircut, and we're moving on. All right, let's see. So I was at Fort Bliss, and I was there like 2.5 months, and I got put on the CBHCO program, which allows me to go to civilian doctors, and then I can stay, at my house, and the Army picks up the tab. Which worked out quite well because at the time my now ex-wife was a nurse at one of the larger hospitals in the area, and I got the inside fast track to a lot of top quality neurologists, and I got cognitive rehabilitation therapy, which I only did it for 2 or 3 months. I rushed myself through it because I wanted to get back. I wanted to get put back on, on active status. And one of the reasons why, I rushed myself through it. Thinking back, I probably should have taken some more time. But the way the Army works, if you're wounded. And, mine was a, neurological issue, and you stay on the, wounded list long enough, they're going to fucking put you out. And you'll never get back in once that happens. And I wasn't done yet. I wanted to do more. I mean, I wanted to do 40 years. I only made it to 33, but, I love the fucking Army. All right, now, the consequences of filing the IG complaint, which destroyed old Worthless and Lapdog, they really tried to fuck with me kind of hard, though I did have some friends on the inside who were able to run top cover for me and get me transferred out to Illinois Guard, 20th Group Special Forces. I don't believe they're there in the state anymore. I think they moved to Ohio or... Indiana, I'm not sure. But I think I transferred in September of 2005 and just went back to being a nug on the teams, weapons sergeant, which worked out just fine for me. And I had to take a PT test, do a couple road marches, chin-ups, climb the rope, play the game, which was not a problem. I've always maintained myself to a fairly high physical standard. Even at my age, I'm still able to tear some shit up pretty good, and I have the ability to take it to the next level if need be. And the only difference is I can't hold it as long as I used to when I was younger, and it hurts a lot more. It requires like a lot of hydrocodone and booze, but it's still within the realm of possibility. All right, and another thing that happened, I returned with, when I left for medevac, I had a rucksack in my computer bag. That's it. All the rest of my shit was left behind. Satellite phone, small arms repair kit. I had maybe 150 1-ounce pieces of silver, a bunch of knives, a second chance vest, a bunch of high dollar stuff in there. And it got completely rat fucked, and I was left with virtually nothing, which I tried to file a claim with the provost marshals on post, but I got the fucking runaround, and even to this day, I've never seen a dime of reimbursement for having my shit rat fucked. So I'm pretty upset about that. Now, I don't know who did it at the 425. I'm not going to say any names, but I have my suspicions. There were a lot of negative issues and bad feelings between certain individuals who were in the inner circle of trust with Worthless and the Lapdog, and the rest of us, Joes, who they basically shit on it for the entire deployment. But in life, the way it works out, sometimes you just got to take a couple shots, maybe get knocked on your ass once or twice, and all you really got to do is stand up one more time than you get knocked down, and you fucking win. So, I drove on. I just fucking wrote it off, and it just became the cost or the price of saving the lives of my men, and it was well worth it. And and looking back on it, I wouldn't change a goddamn thing, because if I had not been where I had been, people would have died. And so far, up until this point in my life, I would say that deployment was the finest hour of my life. All right, I was a first sergeant and an operations sergeant. Really wasn't a trigger puller. Though I did have a little trigger pulling time, but my battles and the contributions I made towards the men probably went way beyond working a good machine gun or what have you. I went up against full bird colonels, pissed off like a whole slew of lieutenant colonels, majors, captains, probably 2 or 3 dozen sergeant majors, and you know what? They could fuck off. Bunch of fucking yes men, fucking brown-nosing motherfuckers. And, I'm just thinking about how many other soldiers and other units who got wounded or killed that may have had a chance not to be wounded or killed if they would have had an NCO like me, at their 6, making sure that the Army simply followed its regulations, didn't do double standards, and didn't play favorites. That's really not that big of a deal. Okay, I filed the IG complaint with the Michigan State National Guard and filed it concurrently with the DOD IG because when a lot of it happened, we're on active duty. And I sent a copy to Senator Levin's office so he would maintain, oversight of it, because the Michigan Guard has a really bad fucking habit of throwing shit under the rug or shit canning it forever until it becomes an old fucking issue that is no longer relevant. So that needed to come to an end. And Lapdog was allowed to stay on active status in the Michigan Guard while we were deployed over in Iraq. He was still, they were still calling him the first sergeant and all this other horse shit, even though he had been relieved for cause in a war zone. So I brought that up, and he was mandatorily retired. I don't know. Hey, I think he should have got fucked up a lot worse than that. Trumping up charges on a soldier, making him do the perp walk in front of everybody, harassing the fuck out of him to the point where the guy's about to snap, throwing him in the funny farm for a week. It was the epitome of the worst fucking shit you could do to a soldier other than get him killed or maimed. So, fuck that guy. And, you know, I told Worthless to his face, by the time, you know, my boots hit, you know, U.S. soil, I was going to fucking end him, and that's exactly what I fucking did. I'm going to see if I could dig up all the, you know, sections of the IG complaint that was filed and put it up on redonkulous.com. Now, I will state that that IG complaint was written by me, but it was compiled from the IG complaints of 5 other NCOs and senior NCOs who also went on that deployment who had the same idea I did. And again, you know, it's one thing when you have Staff Sergeant this or Sergeant that, and, you know, but when you have the acting or the first sergeant of the unit, Green Beret, Airborne Ranger, 3 wars under his belt, fucking point the finger and have, you know, pictures, diagrams, sworn statements, it's fucking devastating. It is. And, you know, fuck him. Now, I dropped that complaint. Of course, when you do that, you know, the IG contacts the person who's being, you know, complained upon that he's in the middle of an IG fucking investigation. So old Worthless basically had me taken off the E9 Sergeant Major list, basically for no reason. I believe the rebuttal letter for that is on redonkulous.com as well if you want to read up on that. And, you know, it was just a bunch of frivolous bullshit. And I got taken off the Sergeant Major list like 7 or 8 days before he was, you know, invited up to Lansing and summarily fucking relieved and fucking kicked out of the Guard forever. And I had, you know, a lot of fucking animosity towards that guy, still do. I can't believe he was so incompetent, such a moral fucking coward that he allowed that shit to go down on his watch. Especially when I counseled him to the contrary before we even left Fort Bliss. And I'm going to tell you exactly how this went. All right, I had to sit down with him, and I looked him in the face, and I said, "Sir, we need to get a few things straight, and there needs to be some ground rules here. And I'm going to explain it to you in grunt speak, as simple as I can. You are not an active duty officer. You are a National Guard officer on active duty. So all of the active duty officers that you're going to be around don't give a fuck, a shit, or a damn about you whatsoever. All right? Now, depending upon what you do and how you carry yourself during this deployment is going to determine if you can return to Michigan and live with us in honor or in shame." And he picked shame. And I found out, I believe it was 2006. I'm jumping forward a little bit on this, maybe 6, 7, somewhere in there, that he had moved to Washington State and, you know, was doing his deal out there. Now, I was not going to allow other men to suffer this motherfucker's incompetence. So, you know, I'm a very resourceful individual. Found out his address, and then I got the addresses of every Army Reserve unit and National Guard soldier within, I believe, 100 miles of his house. And I copied that same IG complaint with the letter from the IG stating that it was, you know, that it was founded, the complaint was founded, and I sent it to all those units, and I sent it to the Washington State TAG and IGOIC. And they actually, you know, contacted me and want to know what the hell was going on, and I told them. I told them the deal, and, you know, they were a little upset about this, saying that I might have violated privacy and blah, blah, blah. And I told them, listen, you got a man who's incompetent, who risked the lives of 100 of his entire company. And he's probably looking at some way of weaseling his way back into your system. And I'm going to be honest, if that happens, I am going to put pen to paper and people are going to get burned to the fucking ground. Period. Well, he, as far as I know, he never made it back in the system, so fuck that guy. And I believe he's too old now anyway. Okay, now, that was some very, very ugly, fucked up business. And, did I like doing it? No. Did it need to happen? Yes, it did. Okay, we got that done. Now, I heard some stories from Sergeant First Class Wiley, because he was there on the day that old Worthless got the call from the Michigan tag to get his ass up to Lansing. And he left all of his shit behind and basically, left in a huff. And no one from the unit ever saw him again, and he never returned for any of his shit. Bummer. And, at the funeral we went to last month, he and I had a few drinks, threw back a few drinks talking about that story. And, it is what it is. So, gentlemen, a lot of you guys out there, are still in the service. And, it usually when you've been in, long enough, you look forward to being the NCO or an officer in charge. So you feel like you have a little control over your life. That's great. But I'm going to be honest. If you do your job correctly, not everything is going to be a cakewalk. Everyone's not going to be your buddy. At best, half the time, everyone will be pissed off at you. At worst, 100%, everyone will be pissed off at you. No matter what you do, people will get pissed. But if you do the right thing, even when nobody is looking, you'll come out okay. That's all I can really say about that. And I cover all of that in my book, The Warrior's Way and the Soldier's Soul. It's basically leadership points with a couple of, stories thrown in there and how shit works. And, I wrote that book basically to keep my sanity. I published it in 2012. I pounded it out in like a 6-month time frame. And I wrote that thing, when I wasn't at work. I wrote out until like midnight every night, 2 a.m. It was like the universe was commanding me to write that fucking book. And once I got it published, and I know I rushed through it, some of the editing is fucked up, but I just needed to get it out there. It was like a huge weight was lifted off of my shoulders. Like the universe said, all right, man, we're going to cut you some slack. And, but now it is what it is. And I got called forward to do some more fucked up shit. But that's basically coming up with the divorce and all the other crazy stuff. There's a couple stories I'll throw in there from 20th Group, Suffolk, and Sear. A couple of field problems. Just got to write those down so I don't forget. All right, gentlemen, you guys take it easy, and I will talk to you later.